Nice. I'm leaving that in. Alright, what's up, y'all? Got a different video for you, obviously. I'm gonna change some stuff up. I feel like with me making so much content about being neurodivergent and also noticing that it's a little bit different. You gotta take a different route about proving to people that you're neurodivergent, especially when you're conventionally attractive. So I feel like if you saw more of my mannerisms and you kind of got a better picture of who I am as a whole person, it'll be easier to see, my neurodivergent traits will come out more. Even though I know most people who's going to come to see this aren't going to question it, but a lot of people in my real life do that, so I want to at least be a little bit more comfortable and I guess unmasks more than I normally or usually do. So I feel like this would be a better way of doing it, but there's always going to be changes, always going to be updates. But hopefully this video comes out well since I'm just using my phone. I don't have a microphone or nothing. Hopefully, I don't know, this, in my opinion, comes across more genuine versus being so professional all the time. But anyway, I'm going on a tangent, which I normally do. It's nothing new. But I definitely want to talk about how I've been feeling lately and how that all ties into a lot of the topics and the themes I've had on this channel. It's about being neurodivergent, about being attractive, being black, about being about the black pill, kind of getting that knowledge, getting that truth. Which a black pill isn't everything. It's just part of the truth. There's different elements you got to add into your life, different spices to get the ingredients to bake the whatever hell kind of monstrosity meal you're trying to make for yourself. But I've had somewhat of an epiphany this past Friday, where I kind of came to terms with the fact that I just disassociate a whole lot, depersonalize myself, and I'm slowly coming to terms with why I do that and how it's been pretty much destructive in my life. For the best, honestly, because everything happens for a reason. I'm reading, I think I said in one of my videos, Rob Sapolsky's book about determinism and how there isn't any free will, or very, very little of it. I'm accepting that as well, accepting us being animals and primates, and you go down a certain route, down a certain path with certain people in a certain environment, it's going to turn out a certain type of way. So I'm definitely giving myself more grace for this dissociation, or me just dissociating altogether. But at the same time, I just know that it has led to me hurting a bunch of people in my life. So many people, especially the women in my life. I have hurt every single one of them, or damn near every single one of them who's gotten close to me, who has shown me any type of love or kindness. But eventually I don't know how to react to that. I don't know how to reciprocate that. And I sabotage it. I've done it every single time. And I'm coming to terms with that because of the events that happened Friday. I might make a video about what that was. I think I'm going to have to. It all depends on what this is, what this becomes. What happened Friday has happened multiple times in my life, so it was not like a big deal. But Friday was like the tip of the iceberg. It was my realization moment. Like, oh, this is going to keep happening unless I actually accept reality for what it is. You're probably thinking, well, what was that thing that you weren't accepting? And it was going off of a lot of the previous videos. It was me not accepting like how attractive I actually am. going like past like my height, my skin tone, me being black, me being handsome, my voice, my mannerisms, my energy. It was just, I just attract a whole lot of people, a whole lot of things, which I've always consciously and subconsciously knew, but I just didn't want to accept like the gravity of it. You know, I didn't really accept like where I actually was in like the pecking order, the hierarchy of things as animals. You know, I didn't want to accept that I always considered myself like a pretty regular dude. Probably because I don't do a whole lot. I just stay to myself. I always have pretty mundane but neurodivergent hobbies. You know, I always like trains. Still, you know, Thomas the Tank's my boy. He's been down with me since forever. You know, we got out of the mud together. You know, I always like trains. I've always gravitated towards mechanical things, whether it be my job, working construction, playing video games. I didn't realize how mechanically satisfying that actually is. You know, so I'm like, maybe one of these days get a mouse and keyboard and do that whole PC gaming nonsense. But I'll stick with the consoles until then. But that's always been something I've done. Gravitated towards, you know, more neurodivergent communities and societies, like pretty much all of, I think, East Asia. I don't know if it's West Asia, like Japan, Korea, Vietnam, all those China, all those great countries and societies. I know they're very neurodivergent, but they have a very different slant on what it means, to where they're not even super open about it. You know, at least I don't know. I'm not from there. I've never been there. Maybe they are. Maybe they don't tell us. But I know that they're very neurodivergent as well. A lot of autism and ADHD that is running rampant over in those countries. But yeah, I never truly like consider myself anything other than just average, just normal. Because that's kind of what I wasn't specifically told that, but I was never really given any praise or I wasn't really, it's not even like the praise, it was just kind of like the mean comments, the harshness, the cruelty that I experienced as a kid created the person that you see here today, which I'm very grateful for. You know, you need that adversity to truly understand who you are as a person and as well as other people. You know, I'm very glad that I didn't live a very blue-pilled life. I kind of saw all the animalistic parts of people at a very young age, especially from women, where that led to me not even being able to like fantasize about women. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never really had that part of my adolescence where I was like wondering like what women's, who they are, how they act, how they behave about their bodies. I got access to that at a very, very young age, so where I took all the mystery out of it, where it was just like, now I've been jaded for decades now, honestly, looking back at it, because you know, seeing in society how men are supposed to interact with women, how they're supposed to get, you know, validation from women in all sense of that word. You're supposed to do things, you're supposed to act, you're supposed to just be this great person, you know what I'm saying? Or they're just not going to give you any attention. And that just hasn't been the case for me at all. You know, that's never been true, ever. Not once in my life has that actually been the case. Sorry if you hear me wheezing, I don't know my age that. That's never really been the case for me because, yeah, I've done literally almost nothing, and I just got so much attention from people, and it was very confusing because of what I was told, what I saw from other people. That you had to do these things to keep attention. You had to constantly keep improving and constantly keep just bettering yourself. as a person. I mean, like doing like the work. When they talk about doing the work, I'm talking about doing like life changing work, not like the regular shit. I think what I do isn't really life changing. I feel like what I do and how I keep myself the way that I am is like how I'm supposed to do it. It's not like life changing. It's like normal. The way I take care of myself, my body, my mind, spirit. I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do. I don't understand why people will give me praise for like going to therapy and doing stuff like this, journaling, reading books, all that stuff. That's something that I just gravitated towards. So it's not even like anything that's out of the ordinary. But people are gonna do what people are gonna do. Humans are gonna be humans. Humans are going to human, like Brittany says. And shout out to Brittany. Don't even remember her last name, but she knows who she is. She has some really great content here on YouTube. I'll even put her channel in the description. Just because I don't always agree with her. I like the fact that I don't. That's what makes interactions with people real. You're not supposed to agree with them or like them all the time. But going back to the dissociation part and how it's kind of caused a lot of chaos, I've just noticed that, especially I have been increasingly allowing more people to help me in my life. Don't fall over. All right. I've been increasingly allowing people to help me in my life, a therapist, friends, family, and the main people I've let help was either my exes while we were still together, or even when we're not. I've been talking to a few of them, telling them a little bit what's going on. People who I'm just meeting for the first time, but mostly that's my therapist, and they've been doing that's been like the life-changing work about giving me the autonomy to take back control over my life that I wasn't doing for the longest time. I was just kind of depersonalizing myself, and whenever I would see give you like a really good example, I know a good friend of mine, and they introduced me to their friends, and a lot of their friends, they're with someone, they have a girlfriend or whatever, and they might be introduce me to one of their girlfriends who has a boyfriend. And what I do to make myself feel like I'm in control of that situation is I completely ignore all of the signs that the girl has any attraction to me, because I don't want to deal with knowing how people truly are. Like I said, I've learned these things at a very, very young age, very extremely young, and I don't want to feel that way anymore. I don't want to experience that. It's not comfortable. It makes me extremely uncomfortable to know that's how people are. That's how we are as animals. To know that, and I meant to make a video about this, that's kept me from making so many meaningful male friendships, is because of that fact. How women feel about me. How does people feel about me in general? Obviously not always just women, but people are gonna be envious of people just because they have more than them and they can just achieve a little bit more than them. I'm not rich. I am rich. I'm just not wealthy. Because I don't have a whole lot of money. But I am very rich. I have a whole lot of possessions internally that a lot of people don't. So I am I guess I am. Yeah, I'm a very wealthy person. I'm just not rich. I don't have a whole lot of capital. I have more than the average person though. So that's even. I can't even really say that for real. But yeah, just not accepting that part of the reality, and I've understand that that's what's kept me from making meaningful relationships with men, is because of that fact, and it always eventually gets there. To start there, I've had so many friendships where it was cool, and then the girl got involved, and then it was all hell broke loose, and we're not friends anymore. And I tried to even rekindle that friendship, I think a week or two ago, and yeah, I wasn't in the right mind frame. I already came into it drunk. I wasn't drunk, I was drinking. Uh, and I was being very honest, being very vulnerable. And I feel like he was too, but he wasn't, because the last time I saw him a couple months prior, I can just tell he did not want to see me. He did not want to be around me because he's already had feelings about me and feelings about himself and all that or whatever. And he sees me doing pretty well for myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm doing pretty well on the inside looking out. Even mentally, I'm doing pretty well. Emotionally, I'm doing pretty well. And I just like oozes with the confidence. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm making these videos. I'm more confident to make them versus, maybe I wanted to do it like 10 years ago. I just didn't have that confidence to do it. I did. I just didn't have that. I was still kind of stuck in my head about it. Or now I feel like, yeah, this is probably the best time for me to do it, to show you guys the best, worst version of myself, and then kind of see the progress from there. But I know that that's kept me from making so many meaningful connections with men, because that's kind of how it gets. You know what I'm saying? I've even had that with people very close to me, where even though I feel like we're still cool because we had more of an intimate relationship where we just weren't friends. I had like roommates, I had people I went through my apprenticeship with. Like we've definitely been through some shit together, to where like the bros the bros before hoes thing is definitely going to apply. But for like most people, I don't even build up that camaraderie with them to even get to that point. So it's like, nah, it's not even, we ain't even going there. Ain't even gonna talk about it. So it kept me from doing that, and it's something that I just don't want to acknowledge is real. And I hope that if I don't do that, that would just make it go away. You know what I'm saying? Like I just know what you're doing right in front of me, the signals that you're sending me. I'm not even. I'm just gonna pretend like they're not being sent. So then I can kind of get back to my safety, get back to having the control over the situation, which, like I said, from the book, from the research I'm doing, from the people I'm talking to, I need to just let go of that crazy, wild ass thought that I can control these things. I have I have very, very little control of myself, let alone people outside of me. It's it's I don't want to say like a tough pill to swallow, but it's just, I feel like my entire view of the world is just shattering all around me. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like, yeah, I want to get like a visual representation of it, put it into words. That's how my mind thinks. I'm thinking pictures. Uh, I don't know. Only thing I can think of is that scene from DMC5 where Urizen gets defeated by Dante, and then you see the world that he created shatter around him, and then Virgil standing there. Uh, I'm too lazy to put that clip in there, but hopefully you guys get what I'm saying. Some of you do at least, where it's my whole reality is just shattering in front of me, and then like what's really been there this entire time is standing right there in front of me. And I just have to accept it. You know what I'm saying? I can't continue doing what I'm doing because I've been hurting so many people. So many people. And I feel so bad about it. It's really been eating at me, where I just know, like, I can't expect to get to the point of like starting a family and having a real meaningful whole connection with a woman while also having so much smoke for them because of what happened to me as a kid. The things that happened that I made me feel unsafe, made me feel like I didn't have control over myself, made me not feel comfortable in my own body. It made me feel insecure. I like I saw all of the animalistic parts of boys and girls, men and women, but from a lot from women, that I do not wish on anyone at that age. You know what I'm saying? Like when I have my kids, I'm like, yo, I am making sure that he is surrounded by decent kids. He's not gonna be ducking the smoke by any means, but he's not gonna be going through the gauntlet that I went through as a kid. Like I said, maybe the man that I am today, and he's just going to bring me everything in the world I'm not taking the short. I'm not taking the shortcuts. I'm taking the long route, taking the scenic route to get as much as knowledge and get as much experience as possible. But at the same time, I just know that this is just how I feel right now after coming to that realization Friday that I just been depersonalizing myself, desensitizing myself to my environment because of what I don't want to see. Even in my job, I don't want to get too much involved in it. I don't want to see like my higher ups just being jealous of me and being envious of me and being, fearful of me to where they're just actively making sure I don't get work and I don't actually do what I'm supposed to do, even though everyone who works with me understands that I do a good job. No one's gonna look at me and be like, that guy doesn't do good work. That guy doesn't work hard. That's not. You're lying to yourself if you think that. I was lying to myself for the longest time, and I said I wasn't a hard worker. You know what I'm saying? Like that. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of how things are when you are constantly desensitizing yourself. But yeah, coming to that understanding of that's what people do when you're a big presence and you are just someone who emanates this light. People are just kind of trying to dim it as much as possible, and it just was very hard for me to fully come to that conclusion. I was actually helping my ex out with that as well. I was sending her a lot of like the chosen videos, people seeing that they're chosen, this, that, and the third, just to kind of wean her into that, understanding how people are as animals. And I don't really like take that chosen slant. I think it's just humans, animals being who we are, and if you got a whole lot of good genetics and good qualities about you, you're just going to be loved and hated more than others. It's not only like super simplified, but it's nothing too wild, nothing too crazy. Kind of lost my train of thought, but yeah, talking to my ex about it. So I understand that from myself, that I am, part of that group. But it's just when it gets really personal, when it gets really close to home, it's when I don't want to believe it anymore. It's like, nah, people that I don't know, whatever. I'll use that. I'll use that frame of reference. I look at it from that perspective. But people who are very close to me, people who are just people who I care about and love very deeply, I can't allow them to also be a part of that. And that's just been one big lie that's just led me to just so many terrible things. Not terrible, like they happen to a reason, and I can definitely make those wrongs right, right those wrongs, while also understanding that I can never go back to that. The relationships that I have with those people are gone. You know what I'm saying? That when I first met them, you know what I'm saying? They're not coming back. They're pretty much they're going the way of the dodo. But I can at least attempt to make something beautiful out of what's remained. You know what I'm saying? Like make something actually work. I think that's what the most beautiful pieces of art come from, is from chaos and disaster, a little bit of misery and sorrow, and I think that's where like a lot of the really meaningful shit kind of comes out. So I'm hoping that they will understand why I was doing the things that I was doing, why I was sabotaging our relationship, because I'm not used to getting words of affirmation, getting love, getting support from people in like a long-term view, or I'm not sure what word to use, but I'm just not used to that, unfortunately, or fortunately. Like I said before, a lot of it made me who I am today, so I ain't really sweating it for real. But yeah, it's something else. It really, really is hard to describe it. I felt every single emotion available since Friday, and then today, because I was reaching out to one person who has cared about me so much, and I just put her in like a box. I put all of them in a box, but I put her in a very specific box because it was easier for me to get what I wanted without getting hurt by putting her in there. And I just know now, especially after these past few months of us, our conversations, our dealings with each other, that yeah, she is not happy. I definitely hurt her very deeply, which led me going through all of the times that I hurt all these other women that were in my life, and the men, but mostly the women. Like I said, it's just I got so much trauma from that, and that stems from my childhood. But I feel like if I was more neurotypical, I would be handling this a lot differently because I'm using my pattern recognition skills to recognize patterns within these women, which justifies my treatment of them in my head. You know, oh, you did this, she did this, and I don't like her because of what she did. So you're over here now. You know what I'm saying? Some women get one strike, some get two, some get three, some get a million. You know, it depends. You know, I'm still a man. I'm still pretty shallow, but I understand that I'm just out here hurting people by depersonalizing myself, desensitizing myself to my environment because I don't want to believe that people are as shallow as they are. I mean, I don't believe being shallow is bad. It's just neutral. It's natural. Honestly, all animals are shallow. We have to be. It makes sense. We need to gravitate towards the most attractive people. That's what motivates us to do the things that we do every day. You know, it's a very inconvenient truth. But yeah, just not coming into terms with how shallow people are, how shallow humans are, and how we just want what we want. And a lot of the times we're just going to get it whatever, however we want to do it by whatever means to do it. And I can't really be mad at anybody, you know, because I'm no different. I've done it myself. I've done it every day. I do it every day. We all do. So just coming to that acceptance, that radical acceptance that I learned from therapy about this is helping me out. But this is kind of why I'm doing this. This is kind of why I want to be a neurobiologist and really work on this neurodivergency thing, because I know that's like the main cause of human suffering right now, is us not understanding our brains, not understanding that our brains have evolved. When did our brains collectively all evolve? When did we all start becoming autistic and having ADHD and dyslexia and dyspraxia and all that other fun stuff? When did that happen, and why are we still going through these growing pains of figuring out what being neurodivergent actually means? And yeah, what are we going to do about it moving forward? Where are we going with this knowledge? But I know it causes a whole lot of problems in people's lives. You know, I've seen addiction being addiction traits have been connected with ADHD. You know, a lot of gambling addicts, in all sense of the word of gambling, probably all have ADHD or some sort of neurodivergency. People who just, you know, are very aloof, people who are depressed all the time, people who are emotionally unregulated. It's just there's so many things that I believe are stemmed from being neurodivergent and just not being diagnosed, or at least not like at least understanding what being neurodivergent is. You don't really even got to get yourself diagnosed. Honestly, I ain't even trying to hold you on that. But just understanding what being neurodivergent is, as it saved me from myself. You know what I'm saying? I actually have autonomy over my life, over my choices now. You know, I actually can choose which of the 6 endings I'm going to get from my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we all have 6 endings that we can get: the good ending, the bad ending, all the other ones, whatever. I feel like I have more of a choice about which route I'm going to go, versus before I didn't have any autonomy. It just was kind of like floating around. I feel like everyone who's neurodivergent and not diagnosed, or at least not without that knowledge, just floating around. But we're all getting there, little by little. I just want to be part of that, especially here in my hometown. We need it more than anybody else. I ain't gonna say that, but we need it. There's just not a whole lot of people with a whole lot of light in their eyes around here. You know what I'm saying? There's not a whole lot of inspiration and motivation going around to help people through all this, and that's why everyone's kind of nasty towards each other. It's because we're all just kind of trying to survive, but I feel like we all just knew that we were neurodivergent. Well, the majority of us knew it. That would cause a whole lot of misunderstandings. You know, I feel like the woman who having this realization over. I wish if she knew that she was neurodivergent, this would make things a little bit better. I want to tell her next time I see her, next Monday, because I feel like that's part of the why I got upset with her. I was telling her about myself, and she wasn't really believing me. I've had a lot of people who I told in real life hasn't really truly believed me when I told them I have autism, because they think, you know, level 2 or even level 3 is autism. They don't know about the high functioning or the level 1s or Asperger's or Aspies or whatever words you want to use, because I'm just so good at doing things that are seen as like neurotypical, but they aren't neurotypical. They're just not as stigmatized as much as they used to be. You know, I feel like everything that any A, B, C list celebrity does, you know, you can only get to that type of notoriety by thinking outside the box and being neurodivergent. All of that stuff is like normalized. So many of us get undiagnosed because we just copy them, since they're conventionally attractive and they're neurodivergent. We just kind of follow their lead. So there's millions and millions of us undiagnosed because we just don't think that we are. We're just either shy or awkward or quirky or a little slow or just whatever label we want to put on each other. But we're all working to get to that point. I'm just yapping right now. Just getting really into it. Getting back to the point of this and point of how I'm feeling right now. This is going to lead to something very beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to make a whole lot of great things with this. You know, I want to be a neurobiologist. I also am an artist. I'm not sure how much of a musician I am, but I'm learning that I am going to achieve everything I want to achieve. You know, I am going to make the video games that I want to make, because I want to help the people who are also depersonalizing, who are also desensitizing themselves. You know, fortunately, with the video games, with all, you know, forms of escapism, TV shows, YouTube, social media, it kind of removes us from reality and places us in places, and it gives us the opportunity to experience something that's different from reality. That's why I gravitated towards video games as a kid very, very heavily, because it was like one of the very few places where I actually felt like I had control over something, especially as a black man. You know, that was very rare for me. A lot of the times I would just get into situations where I would just get overwhelmed because so much is just thrown at me. You know what I'm saying? It's this I'm processing everything because of my brain. We're all processing the lights, the sounds, the noises, all that stuff, and I'm processing like all this energy that is coming towards me. You know, I've never had a dull moment. I never had like a day of school where no one said anything to me, even though I might not have said a word. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's multiple people in multiple classes who were just kind of talking to me, kind of just sending their energy to me, good, bad, neutral, whatever. And it's just, I've never had that experience of like controlling my reality, which I know is very, very common. No one really can, but well, you're just getting so much thrown at you, man. You just kind of want to control things. So I gravitated towards video games. You know, a lot of people gravitated towards TV and movies when they were kids, and you know, cartoons and all that. So we've always done that as neurodivergent kids. This neurodivergency has been going on way longer than we can ever know. I really would like to get to the root to see who was like one of the very first neurodivergent people. I know there's a couple of years ago, maybe, like the first person who was diagnosed with autism, I think, passed away in his or hers 80s or 90s. I can't remember. I saw that a while ago, but I know there's someone way before them who was neurodivergent. You know, I'm even thinking, I had like this wild ass thought. I remember reading Macbeth in high school and thinking that it was pretty wild, like how he was acting with his girl and his kingdom, his dad, and all that. And I'm just thinking, man, like, was Macbeth autistic? I think he might have been. Looking at his actions, you know, I think he might have been a little bit on the tism side, especially how he allowed his wife to kind of dictate, kind of get to him in an emotional way. I think old boy might have had some Aspie signs going on, but that's probably just Shakespeare. I know damn well he has to be neurodivergent. There's no way in hell he isn't acting the way he was acting, doing the things he was doing, being completely against the norm of their society, let alone our society. So he definitely had to be neurodivergent. But I'm thinking, yeah, like that dude was definitely on the spectrum for sure. But I just want to make more, connections like that. 'Cause I know all throughout history we've had them. And my favorite like neurodivergent person is probably Naruto. I gravitate towards him a whole lot. Him and Itachi, like a little bit of those two. But Naruto, he's definitely someone who that his aloofness, his unwillingness to give up, his ostracization that he experienced. I think I made a video about that as a kid. There's a lot of things about him that just kind of spoke to me. So when I started reading this stuff when I was a teenager, when it was already into Shippuden, I never actually saw anyone actually go through the same things that I did as a kid. Which made me gravitate towards him more than I saw. Like there's a lot of Naruto's everywhere, but yeah, it's trying to get to a better place for myself, to understand myself. I know the reason why I desensitized myself the way that I did is because of my autism and my ADHD and whatever else, how my brain is wired and how I take in information. It just made the most logical sense for me just to desensitize myself, depersonalize myself. It's because I wanted some semblance of control that I've never really had. And I just wanted to feel it because, like I said, as a big presence, as an attractive person in every sense of the word, I just get way more thrown at me than the average person. The average person does not experience what I experience. There's some days where I just want to walk around with an invisible GoPro, not an actual, maybe that's some Google glasses or something. But just to show people what I see and what I experience, and like the looks and the conversations I get on a daily basis is just wild. When I tell people about it, I'm used to it. It's my day to day. When I tell people about it, it kind of gets some wild ass reactions. But I definitely want to show it because as a neurodivergent person, an autistic person, I'm processing so much, and it's just hard to enjoy life when you're constantly just making sure that you're okay. And that's why I don't even have fun. I'm so boring because I don't believe I deserve to have fun because of just what people tell me how I'm treated. It's not fun. It's a vicious cycle that I'm stuck in right now. But cat's out the bag. That world is pretty much gone, so I can't really hang on to that vision or that version of myself. It doesn't really exist anymore. But it's still very painful understanding like what I was doing while I was depersonalizing myself and who I hurt. That's the hardest part. I hurt a whole lot of people who care about me, who have a whole lot of love for me, who just wanted that love reciprocated, and I'm just like, nah, I can't do that. We don't do that here. We do not do that here. You stay over there and keep giving me love, and I'm not gonna give it back to you. And then get confused when they get mad at me and start lashing out at me. So it's coming to that realization. That's where I'm at. And putting in the work to get to a point where I can actually sustain these relationships, keep these friendships. I've made friends and connections and relationships really easy. It's just maintaining them. That's the hardest part. That is the absolute hardest part. And it's coming to that realization. Because I know I am very sorry. not at a I'll never do it again. You know, hopefully you're not mad at me type of sorry, but I am sorry because I understand now. I get it. I didn't get it before, but I get it now. I definitely get what I did, and how it's always a two-way street, and how I just caused a whole lot of this pain. And I know I'm going to continue hurting people, especially women, if I don't accept what this is and warn them like way ahead of time. I'm going to do that today, actually. Warn a woman in my life who's gravitating towards me. Like, I'll be like, hey, if I ever hurt you, please let me know. Like, immediately. Because I'm not going to know, because I'm not, I shouldn't even say that. I'm probably not going to know, because I've been going the majority of my life thinking acting that way is normal, it's fine. So I'm going to know, but I'm not going to know how you feel, because I don't have time to process how you're feeling, because I'm processing how I feel, because I don't have it's never a dull moment. I'm always processing things. A lot of things get thrown at me. So it's not like I can empathize. I'm just empathizing with everything around me. I don't have that time to send that energy towards you in this moment. You're going to have to wait a couple weeks, even a couple months, even some couple years for me to get to you. I got a whole lot of things in my backlog. Yeah, that's it. There's more I can talk about, because I'm getting real comfy, getting real motivated. But there's gonna be more videos in this style. I feel like I can talk a little bit more, get more comfortable, get more vulnerable, and stay on task. Now that the camera's not like right in my face, can kind of get it away from me. I feel like that's probably best for neurodivergent people. You know, just kind of being a little bit more comfortable and showing people how we are, how we kind of interact, and our mannerisms and all that fun stuff. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all. You know, if there's something that gravitates to y'all in any way, shape, or form, please let me know. I am gonna make more of them like these. I don't really want to make too many of them me in my truck or in different parts of my apartment. I just want to kind of just chill out, kind of just find a place to get grounded, and let this shit kind of flow out a little easier. Man, that was all right. Get out of here.